Hi, I'm doing these sketches of magical creatures from Harry Potter. It's for my Fantasy Beasts of the Hogwarts Legacy sketchbook. I'm almost finished with it. At the end of the video you can see some of it. And I've been working on them on my previous art vlogs, back when I did vlogs. I mean, they were just a collection of art in one video. I don't go around recording the coffee I drink or things like that. So I drew these different sketches. They are all Thestrals. It's a bit hard to pronounce for me. Actually in French they're just called sombrales. I feel like that one's easier to say. But it's Thestrals in English. Oh, I don't remember if in Spanish they changed the name too. Anyway, in the Hogwarts Legacy game you can ride one around, so I included my character in one of the sketches. I drew them on old, damaged Bristol paper, because I don't want to throw it away, if I can use it in any way. The previous ones I did with the hippogriffs are made with gouache. I'm still using that gouache. I threw some away, but not all, because it makes me feel bad if I'm being wasteful. Even if they only work for sketches, I would like to use them. In the game there are two variations of Thestrals. There's a dark one and a white looking one. I'm painting the dark one because that's the one I ride in the game. But like always, instead of just going for full black, I try to use different colors to make the illustration more alive. It's also more realistic since, for example, if you see people's skin, there's always variations of reds and blues, depending on the area. It just makes the illustration more interesting. I used some purples and greens. The background is just a warm tone, and I used some of it in the Thestral, as if it was the surrounding environment reflected on his skin. Adding some pinks on the nostrils and the eyes also helps with the creepy look of the creature. Then I moved to darker gouache, like darker purples and true black. I'm also experimenting a lot with this. So I've used some color pencils to draw some details. I wanted to see if I could get them to work with the gouache. A lot of the color pencils I used were watercolor pencils. So when I went ahead with more gouache, it kind of blended with the colors. It wasn't planned, I just didn't like how it was coming along, so I tried to repaint on top. I feel like I ruined it, but I've been trying to use color pencils lately. I just hope I can find a way to work with them. This time, instead of using ballpoint pen like the last ones, I remembered to try inking with the black ink. I got this ink pot from a Harry Potter writing set I bought like a year ago. But I'm not using the ink it came with because I spent it all already. I just refilled the ink pot with some of my other Made in France ink. Because I liked the pot, I wanted to reuse it. I really like the Made in France ink. I find the quality and finish is much better than the ink it came with. And I think it really helped this drawing. It just looks so much better like this, in my humble opinion. This next one is the one I drew with my character from the video game. My Slytherin wizard, Miguel Funebres. In my mind, he's meant to be from Spain. I started with very light gouache washes. I added some reds on the eyes and nose too. Then I just darkened the colors I added. I tried to do as much details as I could with the gouache. I added blue as the sky, and I don't know what happened, I guess. I just messed up the blending and I ended with some gray for the sky. I also used ink for this one. So far I really like the black ink and gouache combo. It looks much better than the gouache and ballpoint pen. I also added ink on my character on his outfit to paint the dark blacks. This one is okay. I don't like much how my guy turned out, but I like the Thestral. Here's a new sketch to color. A new pose. These are all from reference, by the way. Since I love the game, I played it so much. And usually it takes so many screenshots while flying or running around. I just used my screenshots as reference. I went with a blue-green color palette. I think this screenshot was during the nighttime, so I wanted to portray the night colors. The blue-greens also make it look very creepy or ghostly. I used dark blues for the shadows and details on the face. I liked how the darkness makes the eye really stand out. It's very creepy. And I really liked how it turned out with just gouache, so I left it at that. Here I was going for a full body drawing of the Thestral. I want to include different poses for my sketchbook, so it's a mixture of portraits and full poses. This one is much more messy in terms of the gouache. I didn't feel like I could get the gouache to work. So I just did like a base color and values with the gouache and then moved on to the inking. With the ink I did try to add more details using some hatching too. But the end result is not good. I think it comes across as very lazy. I should have worked more on the inking, using it to show the form better. Right now it's very flat. Here's another full body flying Thestral. I went back to purples for this one. And I'm adding the gouache softly with washes. I used a reddish purple at the top and a bluer purple for the bottom to help with the shading values. And then started on the shadows. I also decided to add the background and make the legs blend in with the shade. And I built the rest of the values with washes of gouache. I used a smaller brush for the details, especially around the face. The rest I left more painterly to make it so the area of the face would be the focus. And I like the effect, so I finished it that way. And here we have all of the finished sketches together. Since they are all cut out of Bristol paper, I will glue them on my sketchbook. Here's some of the finished pages. I'll just add them on the next pages. As you can see, some of them don't fit entirely, but I'm okay if parts of the sketches come out. I kind of like that strange glued on look in the sketchbook. Since the paper is not for painting, it's just a notebook, I like to paint on an extra paper and then glue them on. And also gives me an opportunity to use these damaged papers.